everyone, it's Janet from Sugarshine Designs, and today I'm going to show you a set of 6 shaker cards I made using the new CottageCutz Expression Plus dies. The new word dies are big and fun, and when I saw them I immediately knew I was going to make some simple cards that would let the words do most of the work. The first one uses the word grateful. It's cut of cardstock that I've embossed, and the shaker is made with foam tape and 2 kinds of confetti. To finish it, I added flowers and gems. Next up is a shaker card made with tulle and 2 different colors of sequins. The tulle was this kind with some glitter on it, and I cut this one closer to the top of the card and finished it with matching sequins on the outside. This one's elegant and very feminine. Next is thanks. It's very simply done with no decoration on the outside, and it has this kind of shredded confetti plus sequins in there, and it just gave it a nice clean look. I think it's pretty and simple. Next up is this wish card, and it uses the tulle to create the shaker part of the card. And then I used balloon and star confetti on both the inside of the card and on the outside. And this is a family card made much like the other one I showed you with the flowers. And finally, happy, made with disc confetti. And this also uses a more traditional shaker card with the well. I'm going to show you 2 shakers, one with acetate and one with tulle. So let's get started. This is the Grateful card made with the well-style shaker box. To start, position the word die where you want it on an already embossed piece of cardstock and secure it with washi tape. Then place it in your sandwich and run it through your machine once or twice. With my Cuttlebug, I ran it back and forth 4 times to ensure I got a perfect cut, but I think that's because mine is really loose because I've used it so much. Your machine may not need that many times, but for me, this is what I found worked best. You can see that it cut out the word, leaving the negative space behind, which will be used as the open spot for the window in the shaker box. Now I need to determine where the shaker box will be on this card. I figured this out by eyeballing where the edges of the well of the shaker box can be placed and not be seen through the word window. So I lightly draw a rectangle with my pencil and just make sure the marks don't show anywhere from the front. The lines are then my guide for placing strips of foam tape to create the well that will hold the confetti. The well is formed with 3M double-sided foam tape. I cut the 1-inch strip in half and then each of those pieces in half to make 4 total strips. Once placed, I pull off the backing and place 4 more strips to make a well that's 2 strips high. This gives lots of room for the confetti inside to move around when shaken. Here's a tip for you. Instead of the craft aisle, go to the household area of your local store and pick up the 1-inch roll of foam tape. This is twice the foam tape for a slightly higher price. Okay, now that I have the well done, I'm going to switch gears and apply a piece of acetate on the back of the front panel to form the window for the shaker. I happen to use Transparencies from the office supply store for most of my shaker cards, but if you don't have that, you can recycle packaging from other craft supplies that you buy. You can either use the rigid plastic packaging or the flexible plastic that is the most common on the supplies we crafters use. And I attach that with just some simple 2-sided tape. And now it's time to fill up my shaker well. I typically use sequins, seed beads, and party table confetti in different styles for shaker cards. In this case, I'm using party table confetti. It's inexpensive and there's surprising variety out there. Here I'm using circle confetti and adding some stars in varying sizes and colors. And last I added shredded confetti, which is very different and adds an element of fun to a celebration card like this one. So this well is pretty much ready to go. I'm just going to straighten that out and flatten it or spread it out so that it's not sticking up anywhere. And next I can start putting the 3M foam tape around the edges of the card. So I'm going to put this on top of the well. And I'll need to make this 2 layers as well, because remember the well was 2 layers deep. And it needs to be the same height. So you'll see here I'm just putting on all those pieces of foam tape and then peeling them off. Now one thing I didn't realize when I was doing this is that I could not have foam tape on that left side, so what I did was removed it because the well already is there. So you see I took it off on the one side but left it on the other. And then it's a matter of centering the card over the top just as you had marked it out earlier and pushing down around that well so it's nice and tight. And that finishes the shaker part of this card. At this point you could call it done, or you can continue to decorate the outside as I did. I chose to use some Prima flowers in different colors. Now typically a good design rule is to group odd numbers of embellishments for a balanced look. And you can see here that I have 3 flowers at the bottom, and then I had 1 flower at the top, and then attempted to add a second flower. This is a good example of the odd number rule, because that second flower just didn't look right. So once I got the placement the way I wanted, I went ahead and glued them to the front of the card and then added small gems in their centers. On other cards, I chose to use the round and balloon confetti, stars and sequins in different combinations on the front, so there's some variety in the set. And here's the finished card. Someone is really going to enjoy receiving this card for doing something really nice. Here's our second card, and I'm going to show you how to use tulle to make the shaker on this one. As before, start out by embossing your card front with an embossing folder. Secure your die with washi tape and place in your sandwich. My setup includes the base plate, a shim, the B plate, the paper, and then the C plate. Now the shim is just for added thickness, and if you don't have a shim like this and you need it, just use thin cardboard or thicker cardstock. It'll probably give you the extra thickness you just need to make a clean cut. Now, as before, we're going to take off the die, and you'll have the negative space to use on your card. Now, I want to point out there's some small pieces there for the L and the S, but I didn't fill them in on my shaker card. I wanted as much blank space to show through for the shaker as possible, and obviously you can still read it just fine. There's no problem with that. It's time now to determine where the shaker box is going to go, and like I demonstrated before, I just use a pencil to mark out the borders of where the shaker box will be so that it doesn't show through once it's all glued down. Again, you don't want the border of the shaker box to show through your wish sentiment there. Now you see that I'm applying some double-sided tape. It's called Tear It. It's the first time I use this tape, and boy does this stuff stick. It sticks hard. And I did struggle a little bit with it. I can tell that this is really good stuff, and it's just going to take me a little practice to get good at using it. But I did, as you can see here, struggle just a little bit with it. But once I got it in place, then all I need to do is take off the backing paper, and that's going to provide a very sticky surface, which is very important for this style of tulle card, because the tulle needs to stick in place around that rectangle in order to contain all the confetti and bits and pieces we're going to put inside it. So here I am applying the confetti and pushing that down into the adhesive. And then the fun part, we can add these cute balloon confetti, which I thought was fun for a wish card, and I also added some tiny bitty gold stars to again add just a little bit of celebration more to this card. Now, with the tulle style, the card is very flat. So the advantage to this is that you can put it in the mail. There's virtually no additional thickness caused by this style. The bits and pieces don't move around as much as it does in a traditional well style shaker card, but it still moves around a little bit, and it's a nice effect just the same. So to finish this off, I just need to add the double-sided adhesive to the front of the card and then position that so that the confetti shows through as was planned, and really it's done. It's really fast and simple to make this style with the tulle. And the tulle is fun and different. It's kind of somewhat new. I've just started to see people using tulle, but it makes a lot of sense and it adds a nice little touch to a card. So just like in the others, I decided to use some of the matching confetti, in this case the balloons and some stars on the front. It's a clean and very cheerful look. I really think these 6 cards turned out great, and the shaker cards are really fun as well. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you'll go and check out these great Expression Plus dies from CottageCutz. I'll be back soon, but until then, keep crafting!